Happy birthday, dear Jesus. Happy birthday to you. Today is Christmas.
Watching Full Metal Jacket when I was young, I didn't really get it. Well, I got it as much as a teenage boy could get it, but that's not much more than appreciating the basic surface narrative of the film. But since we're talking about a Stanley Kubrick film, the basic surface narrative makes a better film than most new movies coming out at the time. I'd watched A Clockwork Orange a few times, and I was interested in branching out to other Kubrick films. Of course, this led me to discovering my all-time favorite movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey. But also, I discovered the 1987 film Full Metal Jacket. I'm not sure why, considering the unsettling subject matter from time to time, why it felt so good to watch this movie. But I really did feel that way about the film, in a David Lynch sort of way, where the visuals and the experience take you into a point where you're totally absorbed in the picture. That's just the genius of how Kubrick shot his movies. It's what a great director does. What else a great director does is insert their own unique ideas into an already existing narrative. That's the kind of thing that as a younger man I didn't quite understand yet. Once I learned a little bit more about Kubrick the man, I better understood Kubrick the director. Parallel to my interest in film as a young man was my interest in the occult. The internet was different in those days, and the open discussion and distribution of occult and esoteric texts was at a different level. If you had the will, you could research anything and find any book for sale. I studied conspiracy theories, religions, mythology, astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah, Aleister Crowley and Thelema, Blavatsky, Manly P. Hall, rabbit hole after rabbit hole till my mind was exhausted. All of these studies, and my beliefs put into practice with the way I live my life, have led me to an understanding that makes life worth living to me. I'll elaborate more on that philosophy in the future, but today I'd like to discuss one specific thing.
There will be a magic show at 0930. Chaplain Charlie will tell you about how the free world will conquer communism.
There's an esoteric concept called the Bank of Souls that comes from Jewish mysticism and the Babylonian Talmud. The idea is that all souls that will ever exist were created along with the universe, meaning there's a finite number of souls that exist in creation. These souls are contained in the tree of life, which is one of the two trees in the biblical Garden of Eden, the other tree being the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The first thing we can extrapolate from this idea is that the soul is separate from the body. If souls are present in the tree of life, that means they aren't a part of the material world. The physical body cannot exist inside the garden, so soul and body must be, at least for a time, separate. Let's look at this graphic that lays out a little Jewish mysticism in a whimsical way. We see the ripe souls fall from the tree into the guff. This is also known as the Otsar, or treasury, or more colloquially, the Bank of Souls. The angel Gabriel takes the souls from the guff and gives them to Layla, who cares for each soul until it's born. But what then happens when the body dies and the soul is freed from it? The simple, Western explanation would be that the soul either goes to heaven or hell, or purgatory if you believe in that sort of thing. The Eastern, more esoteric explanation would probably say the soul somehow finds its way back to the tree, or possibly straight back to the treasury. Either way, the body has to die first.
God has a hard-on for Marines because we kill everything we see.
So if you know a little about YouTube, you may have heard of the conspiracy theory iceberg. Shout out to Wendigoon here, check out his video series on the subject. The bottom layer of the conspiracy theory iceberg contains the idea of the Bank of Souls. It's one of the deepest secrets out there. Reason being because we have all the parts, we just don't know the reasons. Like, okay, so there's this place where all the souls are kept. Are there only a certain amount? Or are new ones being grown? Do they go back into the bank after death? Or will the bank be empty someday? Mostly the belief is that once the treasury is empty, the world will end. This is where the conspiracy theories get interesting, though. What if there's a secret, evil group out there just trying to overpopulate the Earth and kill them all off with war, just to empty the treasury of all its souls and bring about the apocalypse? Better yet, what if this secret group is actually benevolent? What if the treasury receives our souls back after we die? Maybe then this secret group has actually been sacrificing human beings throughout history in an effort to refresh the tree of life.
He plays his games, we play ours.
Earlier, I talked about watching Full Metal Jacket when I was younger. One of the lines that stuck with me was when Sergeant Hartman said the words, "We keep heaven packed with fresh souls." I don't know why, it just seems so odd to me, and I finally figured out why a couple decades later. It's antithetical to the intentions of the character. It's Hartman's goal to turn the recruits into killers.
To show our appreciation for so much power, we keep heaven packed with fresh souls.
So, as we know in the case of Kubrick, when something doesn't make sense, a different and yet undiscovered point is yet to be realized. In this case, maybe Kubrick, with all his occult knowledge and Jewish background, was trying to convey the idea of the guff. Maybe war is what mankind uses to keep the treasury constantly turning over and keeping the world from ending. But I think that way because I'm Mr. Sunshine. Because we all know that they're probably just trying to end the world. But then again, I'm a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. Somebody's always trying to end the world. Thanks for watching. Ragnarok and Revolutionize.